You awaken not from sleep, but from certainty, the kind that only comes when the gods have already decided. Your eyes open to the cold breath of pre-dawn, the air sharp, metallic, tasting like the edge of a blade. Your body doesn't move right away, not from fear, but from reverence. Because today is the day you stop being flesh. The world outside your tent is still wrapped in silence, but inside your chest, the drum has already started. One slow beat at a time. You feel it not as a pulse, but as a warning. You sit up, breath tight in your throat. The darkness clings to you, not like a blanket, but like oil. You know what day this is. The day you march toward your death. The day the oracle named long ago, when the words echoed off the temple walls and buried themselves in your bones. Either your king dies, or Sparta falls. You remember that moment, not with fear, but with acceptance. As if the prophecy wasn't a threat, but an inheritance. And now it's here. No dreams, no delays, no way back. You reach for the water basin and splash your face. The cold stings, but does not wake you. You were already awake, somewhere deeper than the skin. The breath you take feels final, like the first gasp before drowning. You listen to the distant crackle of morning fires, the low cough of a soldier outside, the leather creak of someone adjusting armor. These are the sounds of men who have made peace with their end. Your hand brushes the ground beside you and finds your helmet. You lift it slowly, not to wear it yet, but to look it in the eyes. Its bronze face stares back, blank, silent, patient. You are not ready to become that mask. Not yet, but soon. The urge to speak rises in you, but there is no one to speak to, not in this moment. Words would only betray what your silence already knows. You pull the cloak tighter around your shoulders and kneel, not in prayer exactly, but in ritual, because death is a ritual, and this day is holy. You close your eyes for one more second, just to feel the weight of your breath, just to remember what it's like to be alive. Then you whisper, not to the gods, but to yourself. It begins. You hear her voice before you remember the shape of her face. Soft, barely louder than breath. A whisper that used to greet you in the safety of night, now haunting the threshold of war. Don't go, she had said. Not in anger, not even in fear, just quiet disbelief, as if love alone might be enough to keep you home. But love is not greater than Sparta. Love is not greater than prophecy. You did not answer her then. What could you have said? That a man's body is not his own? That your path was carved before you had teeth in your mouth? That the gods had already written the ending and simply needed you to play your part? Your hand moves to your chest where her fingers had once rested. There's nothing there now, just muscle, bone, bronze. You try to remember the warmth of her skin and find only the memory of goodbye. Her voice follows you even as you stand. Stay. The word is too human, too fragile for this morning. You push it away like a spear glancing off your shield. Outside, the wind has shifted. You taste ash on the air, not from fire, but from something older, something deeper. The gods are awake. The prophecy you carry isn't a line from a priestess. It's a brand, burned into your blood. You remember the temple. The oracle's eyes rolled white, her voice like gravel in a cave. Either your king dies, or Sparta falls. Not a threat, a choice, but not your choice. You were a boy then, old enough to hold a spear, young enough to believe you had time. Now time is ash in your mouth. The oracle's voice lingers, not as memory, but as presence. She is still speaking even now. With every heartbeat, she says it again. You step outside and the sun has not yet risen. The sky is bruised with purple and steel, the kind of light that doesn't reveal, but warns. Around you, the camp stirs, shadows in motion, men putting on their last mourning. You walk past them like a ghost among the living. You do not speak. You do not need to. You carry the oracle's words in your marrow. and today they will come true. The armor waits for you like an old god, silent, cold, unmoving. You kneel beside it, not in worship but in something close. The cuirass catches the first light of morning, not like gold, but like something buried and unearthed. It smells of sweat and metal and the ghosts of those who wore it before you. You lift it with both hands. The weight is what you expect, but it still surprises you. Not because it's too heavy, but because it's honest. It does not lie. This is what protection costs. This is what memory weighs. You slide it over your head. It scrapes your skin as it settles against your ribs, a sound like a blade drawn slow. The leather straps are stiff. The bronze is cold. You feel it settle on your shoulders like a verdict. There is no comfort in it, no softness. Just pressure, just presence. You reach for the greaves next. One by one, you tighten the bindings around your shins until they cut into the flesh, not to wound, but to remind. You are no longer soft. You are no longer made for rest. The weight pulls you down, grounds you, anchors you to the moment. There is no drifting now, no escape into thought, just breath, just bronze, just the slow process of becoming something harder than fear. You move with care, not like a man dressing, but like a warrior rebuilding his body from metal and oath. Every piece added is another name forgotten. Every buckle closed is a part of you sealed away. When it is done, you do not feel strong, you feel still, as if the earth beneath you has accepted your decision. You do not speak. Your armor speaks for you. Your eyes settle on the shield. It leans against the wall like an old companion waiting to be picked up one last time. Its surface is no longer smooth. The bronze is mottled with age, scarred with impact, dulled by years of sun, rain, and blood. You run your fingers along the rim. The dents are not random. You know where each came from. This one, near the top. Your father told you it came from a Persian axe. He blocked it with a grunt, then killed the man who swung it. That was before you were born. But the mark remained. The shield remembers. You crouch and place your palm flat against its face. The metal is cold, but it feels warm to you. Familiar. Like the back of a friend's hand. You lift it slowly, not with ceremony, but with care. The leather grip is cracked, hardened with time and dried sweat. Your father's sweat, maybe even your grandfather's. You slide your arm through the straps. It fits too well, as if it never left you, as if it waited all this time for your return. The weight is unlike the armor. It's not across your body. It's pulling from one side, always tugging. The weight is all like the armor. It's not across your body. It's pulling from one side, always tugging, reminding you, this is not for you. It's for the man beside you. The shield is not a wall. It's a bond. It's the silent vow between brothers. You glance down. Inside, carved into the wood, are letters burned dark with age. Names, short, angular, faint. Your father's name is there. Your uncle's, your brother's. One day, yours will join them. One day, very soon, but you will not carve it yourself. You tighten the straps. The shield locks in place. You feel your balance shift, your breath steady. It's not just bronze on your arm. It's legacy. It's memory. It's the last story your family will ever write. And you are the ink. He enters without sound, like a shadow that knows its place. Damaros, older than you by 3 winters, taller by a head, scarred across the chin from a childhood lesson learned too late. He nods once. You nod back. That's all you need. Words between you have always been rationed like water in drought. He sits across from you, resting his back against the tent pole. His armor is already on. His hands are still. You ready? He asks, voice low, like he's afraid to wake the dead. I was ready before I knew what ready meant, you answer. He almost smiles. Almost. There was a time you feared him. In the Agoge, he was the one who beat you first and hardest. You remember the mud, the split lip, the taste of your own blood. You remember how he said nothing after, just stood over you like a statue, waiting to see if you'd rise. You did, every time. That's why he respects you now. Not because you were strong, but because you refused to stay down. Do you think they'll come from the center or the flanks? He asks. You shrug. Does it matter? He leans his head back. Not really. A long silence follows, but it's not empty. It's the kind of silence built from years of shared bruises and broken fingers, cold mornings and missed meals. You think of the boy he once was, the one who buried his brother after the winter plague, the one who stopped a wolf with a spear made from stripped olive branches, the one who cried once, only once, when the instructors weren't looking. You didn't mock him. You just stood next to him and said nothing. That was the beginning. That's how Spartans become brothers. Not through blood, through silence, through shared pain, through the promise that when the enemy comes, you'll both be there. Side by side, shields overlapping, no words, no doubt. She stands in the doorway, arms folded, back straight, eyes fixed on yours like they are the only weapons she's ever needed. She does not cry. Spartan women do not weep for warriors. That is not their role. Their grief is colder, sharper, like the edge of a blade hidden beneath silk. She does not ask you to stay. She does not plead. Her silence is not surrender. It is sacrifice. You step closer. The morning is barely breathing, and your heart beats too loud for this stillness. She studies you the way one studies a wound they've decided not to treat. Acceptance without comfort. Do you know, she says, that our son asked me if you'd come back? You pause. Words gather in your throat and then vanish like breath in winter. She nods slightly, as if that's answer enough. I told him you would, she continues, voice quiet, but not soft. Not in body, but in story. That you'd return in the way only Spartans do. You want to touch her, but you don't. You want to tell her she was right, that even in death you'll protect them. But you don't. Because promises are made by the living, and you no longer belong to that world. Instead, you speak the only truth that remains. Glory to you. Death to me. Her jaw clenches. Her eyes don't move, but something in her shifts, like a building catching fire from the inside. You step forward, close enough now to smell the oil in her hair, the faint trace of ash from the hearth. She raises a hand, rests it on your chest, right over the bronze. Make them remember your name, she says. Then come back to me in dreams. You don't nod. You don't speak. You just hold her hand for one final heartbeat. Then you turn, because if you look at her a moment longer, you might forget that you are already gone. He sleeps facing the wall, legs tucked, one hand curled under his cheek, the way he's always done since he was small enough to fit in one arm. You stand in the doorway and watch him. Not long, just long enough to remember what peace looks like. His breath rises and falls in a rhythm the world hasn't touched yet. No war, no prophecy, no death, just dreams. You step closer, careful not to wake him. You kneel, not as a soldier, as a father. The armor groans as you lower yourself, but he doesn't stir. His blanket is too thin for the morning chill, so you pull it higher, over his shoulder, the way she would. He smells like ashes and sleep and warmth. You reach out, then stop. Your hand hovers above his head, trembling, not from fear, but from the ache of knowing this is the last time. The last time you'll be close enough to protect him. The last time he'll breathe unaware of the hole you're about to leave in his world. You whisper, not loudly, not clearly, but with everything you've never said out loud. Be better than me. Be gentler, but never weaker. If they ask where I went, tell them I walked into the fire and didn't look back. Your voice cracks and still he doesn't wake. Perhaps he knows. Perhaps in some dream he sees your face not as it is now, but how it will be in stories. He sighs in his sleep, turns slightly. You freeze, then rise. You can't afford another second. If he opens his eyes, it all breaks. The armor, the oath, the distance. So you turn, heart aching like a drawn bow. You leave the room slowly, silently, like a ghost passing through a life it once belonged to. He waits by the hearth, wrapped in a wool cloak too thin for the season, too old for mending. Her hands are folded, not in prayer but in something older. Older than words, older than God's. When she hears your footsteps, she doesn't rise. She just turns her head and looks. Her eyes do not glisten. They never have. They are the same eyes that watched your father walk out that same door and never return. You kneel before her, not because she asked you to, but because some debts can only be paid in silence. She raises a hand, slow with age, and places it on your cheek. "Are you ready?" she asks. Her voice is thin, but not weak. You nod. She nods back. Then she slaps you, hard, not to hurt, to mark. "Good," she says. "Then remember who you come from." She gestures to the bowl beside the fire. Ash, oil, a strip of cloth dark with old blood. You take it with both hands. It smells of smoke and iron. You kneel before the flame and dip your fingers in the ash. You draw a line across your brow. Then another, the shape of a spear, the shape of a path. You press the cloth to your lips, then place it into the fire. It curls and blackens instantly. Smoke rises, not like a warning, but like a voice. She begins to chant. Not loud, not clear, just enough for the gods to hear. You do not know the words. They were passed from mother to mother long before Sparta was born. You let the smoke wrap around your face, into your mouth, into your lungs. You breathe it like a vow. When it is done, she speaks again. "Return if you must, die if you must, but never shame the blood I gave you." You rise. Her hand brushes your shoulder once, brief as a gust. Then she turns away, back to the fire, back to the silence. You step into the morning, the smell of ash still clinging to your skin. You do not look back. There is no back. They wait for you beneath the ridge, already formed in rows, already silent. The kind of silence that doesn't beg to be broken. The kind that grows from the earth and wraps around the bones. Shields glint in the early light, not brightly but with a dull glow, like teeth catching sun, like the backs of bronze creatures about to move as one. You take your place without being told. No one needs to speak. Each man knows his position like he knows the rhythm of his breath. You slide into the line, shield to left, spear in right, eyes forward. The column does not shift. It absorbs you like a sea takes in a single drop. 100 warriors, a single body. You glance to your left. The man beside you, Nicandrus, has blood on his cheek, not from battle, from the edge of a razor. He shaved this morning, as all Spartans do before a good death. You nod to him. He nods back. That's all. The shield wall closes, not physically, spiritually. You feel it in your knees, your gut, your breath. The shape of it, the weight, each man overlapping the next. Not for defense, for faith. The commander walks past, slow, measuring. His hand taps shields as he moves. 1, 2, 3. Yours. A solid knock. You do not flinch. The sky has gone pale, the kind of pale that comes before the gods begin to notice. Someone at the front begins to hum, a low note, old, unnamed. Others join in, not as a song, but as a vibration. You feel it through your feet, through the haft of your spear, through the shield pressed tight to your arm. You are no longer individuals. You are the idea of a wall, and the wall is ready to march. The road stretches like a scar through the waking earth. Dust rises with every step, clinging to your greaves, your hands, your throat. It tastes like salt and time. Ahead, the sun breaks the ridgeline, slow and red, spilling over the horizon like blood from a fresh wound. It touches the helmets first, then the shields, igniting them in waves of bronze light. You watch as the column begins to glow, not from within, but from reflection, each man catching the fire of the man before him. You walk not alone, but as a piece of something vast and ancient. The rhythm is steady. Left, right, breathe. Left, right, tighten grip. The wind carries the scent of olive trees and the faint trace of animal dung. Far in the fields, farmers pause and stare as you pass. Some nod, some kneel. None speak. Children watch from behind stone walls, wide-eyed and silent, like they are looking at statues that move. A song begins, not loud, not structured, just one voice, cracked and low, humming a tune older than anyone alive. Another joins, then more, until the road itself seems to carry the sound. No words, just tone, just memory, just the shared hum of men who know they are walking toward the end. The song is not sad, it is not joyful either. It is the sound of what happens when a heart decides to die well. Birds scatter from the trees. The sky is turning gold at the edges. You pass under its glow like stepping beneath a temple arch. Your shield bumps against the man beside you. He does not turn. He does not need to. You are both part of the same breath now, the same prayer made of flesh and metal and will. And the road keeps going. The road does not end. It only narrows. And as it does, your thoughts begin to speak in voices that are not your own. The dust swirls around your feet like whispers trying to rise. You hear nothing, but you feel the pressure of something listening, watching, judging. You wonder if fate walks beside you, cloaked and barefoot, invisible to all but the dying. You ask her nothing. She answers anyway. Not in words, in sensation. The weight in your calves, the burn in your lungs, the ache in your shoulders that no armor can cause. This is her voice. This is her language. Not prophecy, not warning, just gravity, just inevitability. You ask her, why me? Her answer, why not? You ask, will my name be remembered? Her answer, that's not your concern. You were not born for memory. You were born to hold the line. You walk, and her silence thickens. Not cruel, not kind, just absolute. You begin to understand why the oracle's words matter less than how you walk after hearing them. She did not name you. She named a path. You chose to follow it. That is your freedom. That is your doom. Around you, men still hum. The song continues, but now it feels like a thread connecting your bodies to something above the clouds. A loom, a pattern, Moira herself weaving you into the edge of history. You are not the weaver, you are the thread, and threads do not ask where they end, they only hold. The path bends into stone and shadow, and suddenly the forest thins. The trees step back like servants before a throne. The mountain rises ahead, jagged and bare, scarred like an old warrior's chest. Someone near the front calls out, half awe, half disbelief. You step forward and see it, a slab of rock blackened at the center, edges cracked, as if struck by lightning or torn by something not born of men. Domrus murmurs, this is where he fought the lion, the real lion, the one that couldn't die. Another voice, not the Nemean beast, a different one without a name, one the gods hid here to test him. The stories spill like water freed from clay. He climbed that ridge with bare hands. He broke its spine with a single blow. They say he left the mark in that stone. There, see it, his fist, burned through earth. You approach. Run your fingers over the indentation. It is real. Whether myth or not, the stone remembers. The heat of a god's fury. The silence of a struggle no mortal could have survived. You look up, the wind changes, carries with it something ancient, resonant. Smoke, maybe blood, and still he bled, someone says. Even Heracles. The line pauses, not for rest, but reverence. You can feel it in the air, the weight of being in a place where stories were born. You imagine him, not as statue or star, but as a man, panting, wounded, teeth bared, hands torn, yet standing. You are not him. None of you are. But you follow the path he carved. You walk in the echo of his breath. If he bled here, you can too. If he killed a god's test, you can kill a king's army. The sun strikes the ridge then, as if to anoint the moment. Shields flash. A single hawk cries overhead, and the column begins to move again. Slower now, but steadier, as if each man feels something larger breathing through his bones. The ruins rise like broken teeth from the earth, half swallowed by vines, half exposed to the judgment of the sun. The columns lean inward, cracked and dark with soot, as if the gods once screamed through them and left silence in their place. You slow your march, not by order, but by instinct. Even silence here feels sacred. A fallen archway bears the faint mark of an owl, the sign of Athena. Scratched and fading, you step beneath it with the others. No horns sound, no prayers are sung aloud, yet every man knows this is not a place to pass untouched. Someone uncorks a skin of wine, pours it slow onto a blackened stone. The liquid hisses as it strikes the surface, evaporating into the scent of copper and old smoke. You follow. One by one, men offer their sips. Some whisper. Some do not. The ash clings to your sandals. A bird cries. Not a hawk, a crow. It lands on the stone ledge above the altar, feathers like night, eyes like polished obsidian. It tilts its head once, as if judging the courage of those below. Then it caws, as 3 short, sharp calls, before taking off, wings slicing through the air like blades. That's when he appears, bent, robed, barefoot, his feet wrapped in cloth blackened by years of ash. A priest? A hermit? No one knows. His voice is dry as the cracked marble beneath him. You walk the road of endings, he says. The gods do not watch. They listen. He lifts one bony hand, stained with soot, and draws a spiral in the air. When the earth drinks your blood, it will not weep. It will remember. No one speaks. Even the wind pauses to listen. He steps forward, places a pinch of ash on your forehead. Tell the river your name before it takes it. Then he turns and vanishes into the temple's shadow. No one follows. The column reforms in silence. The road continues. But now, with every step, it feels like the ground is aware of you, waiting. The clearing opens like a bowl carved into the mountainside, already half filled with voices that don't belong to Sparta. Arcadians, broad-shouldered and loud, with cloaks dyed a forest green that catches the light like moss. Thebans, sharper featured, their bronze darker, eyes quick with the weight of too many thoughts. Phocians, lean and sunburnt, with spears taller than themselves and sandals tied with rawhide that still smells of goat. Their speech twists in your ear, familiar in rhythm but foreign in tone, some vowels stretched like sinew, others clipped like slingstones. Damaris mutters. Do they fight or argue? Someone nearby chuckles. Both. You step forward, eyes scanning. Shields bear different emblems, boars, serpents, laurels, but all hold the same curve, the same purpose. One man with a braided beard stares at you too long. You stare back until he looks away. That's enough. No blood needs to be spilled here. Not yet. Near the center of the camp, officers shout over one another. A Theban captain demands equal voice. An Arcadian claims the high ground as his right. A Spartan, not Leonidas but close to him, says nothing, just waits. Silence, after all, is also a form of power. In the ranks, men eye each other like dogs in a narrow yard. Some spit, some joke. One Arcadian tells a tale of slaying 3 men with 1 spear. A Theban corrects his math. The laughter that follows is half bitter, but it's a start. You move through them like a stone in a stream, watched, brushed, unbroken. You feel the friction in the air, sharp as flint, but you also feel the slow melting. War does that. Strips names, keeps the blades. You do not speak, you let your shield speak for you. The message is clear. We may sound different, we may bleed different, but when we lock shields, we are one wall, and walls do not care about accent. Tensions break not with words, but with posture. A Theban bumps you during formation drills, intentional or careless. It doesn't matter. You step back, square your stance, stare. He stares back. His name is Menecles. He's younger than he looks, and angrier than he needs to be. You Spartans think you bleed differently, he says. You don't reply. You just tap your shield, once, then point to the horizon. We'll see. That's enough. Later, under the command of an older Arcadian, you form a mixed phalanx, Spartans to the right, Thebans to the left. It's not strategy, it's trial. The ground is dusty, uneven, the sun burns overhead. The Arcadian barks the command. Form up. You brace. Menecles to your left, now. Close enough to smell his sweat. The drill begins. Charge. Brace. Rotate. Hold. The shields clash, not with enemy force, but with expectation. First, it's awkward, spacing too wide, feet unsure. Menecles drops tempo. You grunt. He adjusts. You both breathe harder. Again, shields tighter now. The line stiffens. The rhythm builds. Slam, brace, step, roar. The Arcadian shouts louder. Hold for your brother. You glance at Menecles. His jaw is clenched, but his feet are in time with yours now. Another drill. Another clash. This time, the formation doesn't falter. It bends, but holds. Menecles snarls something under his breath, then says louder, "Not bad, for someone raised on discipline and no bread." You almost smile. Better than someone raised on olives and whining. The two of you grunt. A laugh. Somewhere in that dry, beaten dust, something unspoken clicks. The wall becomes real, not of wood or stone, but of will, of mutual weight and sweat. You don't have to like him. You just have to trust he won't break. And now you do. One wall. One enemy. One fate. The air thickens before you see the gates. It smells like broken eggs and dead gods. A mix of sulfur, brine, and something older, like the breath of the earth itself rising to choke you. Your nostrils burn, your throat clenches. Even the horses behind the line snort and paw the ground, uneasy. The road narrows into a cleft between jagged stone, steep cliffs pressing in like jaws. Above, the sky dims, not from clouds, but from the sheer weight of rock closing overhead. It feels wrong, like you are marching into the lungs of a dead beast. The ground hisses with warm mist leaking from cracks along the path. Pools of steaming water dot the sides, minerals stained and bubbling with quiet menace. The heat clings to your skin, not like fire, but like fever. Your shield arm sweats. Your spear feels heavier. No wind reaches here, only the scent, the stillness, the knowing. Damaros mutters, "It's a grave." Another replies, "No, a womb. You're not sure which is worse." You look around. The path ahead twists briefly, then vanishes into a tighter pass, no wider than 10 men shoulder to shoulder. The cliffs above are climbable, barely, but steep enough to bleed those who try. The sea murmurs to your right, just beyond the rocks, but you can't see it. You only feel the salt in the air, like a ghost licking your skin. Your instincts scream. This is not terrain, it's a trap. But it's also perfect. You realize what Leonidas must have seen. One narrow choke, no room for cavalry, no room for archers, just enough space for a wall of shields to stop an empire. You kneel, touch the earth. It's warm, almost breathing. The place has been waiting. For you, for all of you. as if the gods built it not to protect Greece, but to test it. The hot gates, the last breath before the fire. You take your place on the ridge, shield edge brushing against Damaras's bronze. The ground here is uneven, cracked from centuries of forgotten storms and the constant exhalation of the mountain's belly. The hot mist curls around your feet like ghosts too tired to speak. Ahead, the narrow pass stretches like a wound that refuses to close, 10 men wide. No more. That's it. That's the margin between Greece and oblivion. You do not speak. None of you do. Words would only stain the clarity of this place. The silence is not empty. It listens. Every man eyes the terrain like a wolf eyes a cage. You step forward, plant your heel where the line will hold. Then again, 3 paces forward, where the first spears will meet the first charge. Again, a few steps back, where the wounded will fall, and no one will have time to carry them. You do this not as strategy, as ritual. This is how you marry land and death. The sea to your right crashes, unseen but heard, always heard, a heartbeat made of salt and pressure. The cliff to your left looms, as if even the earth itself watches in judgment. You imagine the Persians flooding this corridor. Thousands, tens of thousands. Their banners casting shadow before their blades. You see their feet trip over each other, their chariots useless, their numbers meaningless. But you also see the blood. Yours, Damaris, the boy behind you who still trembles when the horn sounds. All of it mixing in the dust. You exhale slow, then you speak, not aloud, but within. This is it. This is the place where you will die, where you must die, not for Sparta, not even for glory, but because this narrow strip of scorched earth now holds your name in its mouth, and it will not let go until your bones fill it. The tent is simple. Leather walls, wooden poles, no ornament. Just a map nailed to a slab of bark and the weight of decision in the air. Men from all cities gather inside. Commanders from Phocis, captains from Thebes, old warriors from Arcadia. They speak quickly, some with too many words, others with too much fear behind their eyes. The pass is narrow, yes, but what if they bring ships? What if they scale the cliffs? What if the gods favor Xerxes? What if... Leonidas lifts a hand. Silence, not demanded, offered. It descends like a blanket of still snow. You look at him. You all do. He is not large, not loud, not crowned in gold or polished steel. But when he breathes, the air seems to slow. He stares at the map, then, without turning, says, "They will come like water." A pause. "We will be the rock." No flourish, no oath, just that. He draws a finger across the narrowest point on the parchment. Here. He glances at the Phocian. You hold the mountain path. No one passes. The man nods. Another pause. The Phocian opens his mouth, closes it. Leonidas turns toward the rest of you. His voice drops. Not quiet, but heavy. We are not here to win. We are here to halt. We are not here to live. We are here to show the world that freedom costs blood. No one moves. Even your heartbeat seems reluctant. Then, he looks directly at you. Just a second. No words, but you feel it. The understanding between men who've already buried themselves in the soil, and now wait only to fall in. The war council ends. No cheers, no boasts, just men walking back into the dark with their spines straighter than when they arrived. You step outside the command tent, the cool air brushing against your sweat-slicked face. The others disperse into the shadows, murmuring in low voices, their words already dissolving into the mountain fog. You linger, not for reason, but instinct. That's when he passes. Not flanked by guards, not cloaked in armor, just a man, bearded, bareheaded, eyes like dusk steel. Leonidas. You straighten before you think to. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. His eyes meet yours, and the world narrows. It's not a glance. It's a weight. There's no warmth in his stare, no comfort. What you see there is not fear nor pride, but certainty. Cold, measured certainty. Like a man who already knows the shape of his grave and has memorized the sound his last breath will make. His eyes do not ask if you're ready. They say, you must be. They do not promise glory. They say, walk anyway. In that second, you understand why men follow him. It's not his strength, it's his surrender to fate, to honor, to death. He has already died in his heart, and what walks before you is simply the echo of that choice. His gaze breaks. He nods. Barely. You nod back. No oath passes your lips, but a contract is sealed in silence. He walks on, and as he does, you feel a strange calm settle in your chest, the kind of calm only found on the edge of fire. The king has looked through you and found no fear worth naming, so now you carry his silence like a shield. You are not alone. You are chosen. To stand, to die, to mean something. The fire crackles low, sending flickers of red light dancing across the faces around it. The smell of burning wood and meat fills the air, cutting through the sharp tang of sweat and blood that always hangs in the camp. The men sit in a circle, legs stretched out, some leaning against shields, others perched on rocks. The tension of the day is still there, humming beneath the laughter, but for now it's buried under the warmth of the fire and the rhythm of stories. Damaros takes a swig from his flask and passes it to you. Thebans can't even march in a straight line, he says, voice thick with amusement. Saw one of them trip over his own sandals this morning. Looks like he's still wearing his mother's shoes. The group laughs, a rough, crackling sound that cuts through the night. A Theban soldier sitting nearby glares, but says nothing. A brief silence settles, then another voice breaks in, this one from a Phocian in the back of the group. You think that's bad? You should see the Arcadian captain try to teach his men how to march in formation. They look like ducks trying to swim. More laughter. The fire pops and spits. For a moment, it feels like home. Like any camp, anywhere, with men who have nothing to do but wait and joke. But you know it's a fragile peace, this laughter. Tomorrow the battle will come, or the day after, or the day after that. You can feel it in the air, even now, when the warmth of the fire is enough to make you forget. We've all got our share of mistakes, another voice adds, older this time, one of the veterans from a neighboring unit. His eyes are distant, looking into the flames like they hold a memory just out of reach. I remember my first fight. Thought I could take on a whole squad of Thracians by myself. Ended up stuck in the mud with one of them standing over me, laughing. He pauses, lips twitching, then grins. Good thing he was drunk. I wasn't any better. Laughter bursts out again, louder now, sharper. It cuts through the tension, lightens the load on your chest for a moment. You take a long breath. This is what men do before war. This is how you let go, even if only for an instant. The laughter fades when he begins. The old soldier has always been the quietest of the group, sitting by the fire with eyes too heavy for his years, but tonight his voice breaks the hum of the night like a stone through water. You want a story? He says, barely looking up. His hands are calloused, but his grip is steady. I'll tell you about the sea god I saw long ago. The one who's dead, but doesn't know it yet. The fire crackles, the shadows dance. You feel the shift, the air thickening as every man turns his attention toward him. It was on the shores of Samos, he continues, his voice distant, like he's seeing something far away. I was young, a boy really, full of pride, full of fire. We'd heard the rumors of the great god who drowned sailors with his breath, whose storms brought death to whole fleets. But we didn't believe it, not until we saw him. He pauses, eyes narrowing as if he's still fighting the memory. I was standing at the edge of the water, alone when the sky turned black, darker than the deepest cave, and the wind stopped. That's when I saw him. A figure rising from the waves, tall as a mountain. His face was carved from stone, his eyes glowing with the anger of the sea itself. His hands shake slightly as he speaks, but the firelight catches the rawness in his skin, making it seem like he's still caught in the moment. He walked toward me. No sound, no movement, just the waves parting like he owned them. And I swear to you, he looked at me, right through me, like he knew every sin I'd ever committed and every lie I'd ever told. The men around him sit in stunned silence. Even Damaros, who always has something to say, is quiet now, his eyes wide. The old man lowers his voice almost to a whisper. Then, just as I thought my life would end, he stopped. He reached out, not with hands, but with the sea itself, and he spoke, not with words, but with the roar of the waves. You are not meant to die yet, but when you do, you'll wish you had. The night is still. No one speaks. Even the fire seems to lean in, listening. The old soldier stares into the flames, his voice softening. I've never forgotten that look. The way his eyes knew something I didn't. And when I died, I knew it was him who called me. Not the gods, not fate, just him. The sea god who never died. He exhales deeply, and for a long moment no one moves. The silence is thick with the weight of what he said and what it might mean. You hear the wind stir again, just a whisper in the trees as if the sea itself is waiting. The silence breaks not with action, but with the ripple of an approaching figure. He arrives like a shadow cast long across the earth, tall, deliberate, his sandals clicking against the rocky path. The dust swirls around his feet, but he is not troubled by it. His bearing is too stiff, too measured for a man burdened by dust. He stops at the edge of the camp, stands like a statue carved from marble, his arms folded in front of him. His eyes scan the gathering of Spartan warriors with the same cold precision as a hawk studying prey. The first voice rises, low, guttural, from the back of the crowd. Who is this? Someone murmurs. Not quite a question, but an assessment. Others begin to murmur in agreement. Their words short, sharp. The man before you does not react. He does not need to. The weight of his presence answers the question without words. He is a messenger, a herald, a man sent to announce the arrival of something far more dangerous. The silence deepens, but it does not last. From the edge of the group, one Spartan steps forward, tall, broad, his armor gleaming in the sun. He carries no sword, no shield, just the weight of his authority. He looks the Persian up and down, then asks with a grin, "What brings a prince to these humble mountains?" The Persian's eyes flash with irritation. He takes a step forward, his movements slow, calculated. "I come to deliver a message," he says, his voice deep, resonant. His accent is thick, foreign, but his words are clear. The great King Xerxes demands your submission. He asks for tribute, earth and water. The air seems to thicken with the weight of those words. Earth and water. The symbol of submission, of surrender. The Persian stands tall, watching the Spartans with a look of quiet disdain, as if he expects nothing less than compliance. There is no fear in his stance, just confidence, just expectation. For a long moment, the Spartans stare back, their expressions unreadable. Then, from the far side of the crowd, someone speaks. "Come and take them," Damaros mutters, so quietly only those closest to him can hear. His voice carries more weight than any sword. The Persian's eyes snap toward the sound, but he does not respond. He does not need to. Silence reigns again. A few men chuckle softly, the sound like gravel grinding beneath their boots. It is the only answer they need. earth, and water. The Persians' demands mean nothing here. It is the first test and the first challenge, but it will not be the last. The Persian stands before you, poised and regal, like an oak tree unshaken by storms. His eyes are cold, calculating, and his words fall like stones, heavy, unavoidable. Your king has spoken. He demands your submission, earth and water, tribute to the great King Xerxes. Silence follows, thick and heavy, like a storm brewing on the horizon. Your breath catches in your throat, not from fear, but from something deeper. The weight of what this moment carries. Leonidas steps forward. He is not tall. He is not imposing in the way a giant might be, but he stands before the Persian like a mountain stands before the sea. His eyes, steady, piercing, meet the envoy's without a flicker of hesitation. For a moment, it is as if time slows. The words are coming, and the air is still. And then, with a voice that echoes through the camp, a voice that could shatter mountains or raise armies, he speaks. Come and take them. The words are simple, direct, but they carry the weight of history. The Persian's face hardens, but he says nothing. There is nothing left to say. The line has been drawn. The king has spoken. The tension in the air shifts, and the Spartans react. Slowly at first, then with growing fervor. A murmur ripples through the ranks. Some glance at each other, their eyes uncertain. Others nod, their faces grim. There is no fear here, only the understanding that war is coming. Some men speak in hushed tones. He is mad, one whispers. A king who defies a god? Another replies, no, he is the god. Xerxes is nothing more than a shadow. The voices continue, low and unsure, but they do not carry the strength of certainty. They carry the weight of doubt. The murmurs grow louder, and still, Leonidas remains silent. His gaze never wavers from the Persian. It is not disdain. It is not anger. It is simply resolve. We will fight, Damaros says, his voice like a promise, and we will die, but we will never kneel. The others nod in agreement. No more words are needed. The air is electric, charged with the understanding of what comes next. The Persian, realizing his words have fallen on unyielding ground, turns and walks away, but not before casting one last look at the man who defied him. And as he disappears into the shadows of the valley, the Spartans are left in the silence of their shared understanding. They are not afraid. They are not uncertain. They are ready. Ready to fight for something more than life, more than honor. They are ready to fight for freedom, and they are ready to die for it. The night is thick with silence, broken only by the sound of the fire crackling and the distant murmur of the camp settling into its last moments of peace. The ground is cold beneath your knees, but you do not flinch. You cannot afford to. Not now. Not tonight. The scent of burning sage fills the air, mixing with the smell of sweat and leather. The ritual has begun. You kneel before the fire, your reflection dim in the heat, but your eyes are fixed on the bowl before you. The oil. Its surface shimmers, golden in the firelight, but you do not see its beauty. You see the past, the men who wore this armor before you, the ones who bled and died to keep it clean. You are the last one left. Your hands tremble only slightly as you dip your fingers into the oil, the thick liquid cool against your skin. The smell of it is sharp, strong, a scent that will cling to you for days. You rub it across your arms, across your chest, your back. It is not just a cleansing, it is a marking. The oil makes your skin gleam, but it also makes you feel like a piece of flesh already claimed by the gods. The whispers around you grow quiet. Others kneel in their own rituals, some sharpening their blades, others offering their prayers. But you are focused, steady. You feel the weight of the moment settle into your bone. It is not fear that grips you, but something deeper, a surrender. You reach for your knife, the same one you've carried since the agoge, and begin the ritual of shaving. The hair falls away in thick clumps, each strand a reminder that there is no going back. Once it is done, you run your fingers across your scalp, smooth, clean, the way a warrior should be, bare, ready. You are no longer a boy. You are no longer just a man. You are a Spartan. Your chest rises and falls, steady but loud in your own ears. You close your eyes for a moment, feeling the oil soak into your skin, and then you reach for your sword. The weight of it is familiar now, the way the hilt fits in your hand, the way the blade hums with its own anticipation. You hold it against your lips, just for a moment, and swear your oath, not aloud, but in your heart. I will not break. I will not yield. The world outside does not matter. Nothing matters but the man beside you, the shield you carry, the battle that will come. You do not know if you will survive, but you know this. You will die as you were meant to die, in the fire, with the oil, with the sword. And in that moment, you are both nothing and everything. You are both dead and alive, and that is enough. The fire burns brighter as the night deepens, casting long shadows across the camp. The crackle of the flames is sharp, almost musical in its rhythm as the figure steps forward. The crowd falls silent, the sounds of the camp fading into the background. She is not like the others, not in appearance nor in purpose. The flame singer is wrapped in a cloak of dark cloth, her face hidden beneath a veil of smoke and shadow. Her steps are slow, deliberate, as if the earth itself is reluctant to release her from its grip. The warriors around you stir slightly, shifting their weight, but no one dares speak. The woman stands before the fire, her eyes closed, her breath steady. The flames dance in her reflection, but she does not flinch. She begins to move, slowly at first, then with increasing fluidity, her body swaying in time with the fire's pulse. Her hands rise, fingers splayed like the branches of an ancient tree, and with each movement, the fire seems to respond. It leaps higher, hotter, as if reaching for her. The warriors watch in silence, entranced by her movements. She dances not just for herself, but for them. Each step a prayer, each turn an offering. The words come then, soft at first, just a whisper in the wind, but they grow louder, more powerful, rising above the crackling of the flames. Ares, she sings, her voice low, like the rumble of thunder before the storm. Ares, god of blood and battle, we call you now. The words float on the air, ancient and heavy with meaning, as if they are not spoken but received. The soldiers begin to shift uncomfortably, the weight of her song pulling at them. They feel it. This is not just a prayer. This is a summons. As she sings, her movements grow sharper, more aggressive, as if she is becoming the very essence of war itself. The fire flickers in rhythm with her, as if acknowledging the presence of the god. You feel it, too. The shift in the air, the tension that coils around your chest. For a moment, you forget where you are. The battlefield fades, the camp fades. There is only the fire, the woman, and the god she calls. Eris, she cries again, louder this time. Come to us. The flames roar, and for a heartbeat it feels as though the world holds its breath. And in that instant, as the fire flares high, you swear you see him. Not with your eyes, but with your soul, a figure in the fire, towering, clad in bronze, his eyes glowing with the hunger of battle. You blink, and the vision is gone, but you feel him still. The dance continues, but it has changed. Now it is not a ritual, it is a promise, and every man watching knows it. They are ready. They are ready to die, to kill, to become legends. The sky above is vast, endless, like an ocean of ink. But you do not look for stars. You do not seek beauty. You look for something that is not there. A sign, a shadow, a promise that the gods will not forget you. Even as you wait for death, your eyes follow the horizon, where the last of the sun has vanished, leaving only the bruised purple of twilight. The stars have begun to emerge, distant and cold. You feel the chill of the night air creep beneath your armor, but you do not move. You are not cold. You are numb. The fires from the camp cast long shadows across the ground, flickering and twisting like restless spirits. But it is the fire from the Persian camp you notice first. Far off, at the edge of the world, the torches are rising, dotting the dark like flames on a distant sea. Hundreds of them, maybe thousands. You cannot count them. They stretch out in a line, swelling, pulsing. A mass of light, flickering like a living thing, swarming toward you like an endless tide. The sea of fire. The Persian advance. It feels as though the earth itself is holding its breath, waiting for something to break. You hear the faint sound of voices in the distance. Laughter, shouts, the crackle of flames, the voices of the enemy. They are close. Closer than they were this morning. Closer than you thought possible. But you do not move. You do not speak. You only listen. You listen for something beyond the sound of the fire, beyond the clamor of the world, and then you hear it. The low murmur of a voice near you. Soft, barely audible. It is Damaros. He is speaking in his sleep. A dream. A prayer. A curse. You cannot make out the words, but you hear the fear in his voice. You hear the same fear in the voices of the others, rising and falling like waves. You feel it in your chest, a tightness that pulls your breath from your lungs, and in that moment you understand. This is it. This is the moment before the world tilts, the moment before fate takes hold. You will die here. You will die in this narrow pass, under the weight of the stars and the fire. But you will not die alone. You will die among men who, like you, have chosen to face the storm. The sky above continues to darken, the stars hidden beneath the clouds. You close your eyes, but the fire still burns behind your eyelids. You do not sleep. You do not dream. You wait, and the night waits with you. You walk, but not with your own legs. The river pulls you, deeper, colder, the water rising around your ankles, your knees, swallowing the earth beneath you. It is not the river you know, not the streams that flow through Sparta's hills, but a river of silence and shadow, flowing backward into the night. You cannot speak, you cannot move. The river guides you. You cannot fight it. And then, ahead you see them. They are standing in the shallow waters. Facing you, their forms barely visible in the mist, their outlines dark, like shapes carved from stone. The current runs through them, but they do not flinch. They do not speak, but you know them. You know their faces, their bodies, their movements. These are the men who came before you. Your father, your grandfather, your brothers. They are all there, standing, waiting. The water ripples at their feet. The silence stretches like it has always stretched between you. And then you realize there are no words between you. There cannot be. Their eyes, cold and heavy, meet yours. They do not need to speak. Their eyes are enough. Their gaze is iron. Their gaze is final. You want to speak, to ask, to plead, to demand that they tell you what comes next. But you cannot. You are not allowed. Their faces are weathered with time, their bodies worn from battle. But their eyes, those eyes are still sharp, still seeing everything you have yet to do, everything you have yet to become. They stand like a wall, the way walls stand in the face of storms, unmoving. You reach out, but they do not move. You step closer, but the river pushes you back, relentless. The water is cold, bitter, like it has been running for centuries, carrying the memories of every warrior who has ever stood here before you. They are all here, all waiting, and still they do not speak. You are not sure if you want them to. You are not sure if you can bear to hear the words they would speak. Instead, you stand there, like them in silence, watching the river flow, watching the water swirl around you, knowing that there is nothing more to do now. You have come to the river. And now you must cross. The line forms not with the sound of a command, but with the pressure of bodies moving together. The earth beneath your feet is hard, unforgiving, but it doesn't matter. The ground will not give. You will not give. The warriors fall into their places, not with grace, but with the urgency of men who know what is at stake. The shields lock. The phalanx takes shape, each man standing shoulder to shoulder, not for himself, but for the man beside him. The order comes, sharp, loud, hold the line, and then the world shifts. The sound of shields crashing together is like thunder, loud, heavy, a promise of what's to come. The air thickens with the heat of bodies pressed close, the sweat already beginning to soak through your armor. It is not comfortable. It is not supposed to be. You do not flinch. You do not move. You do not speak. The sound of feet shifting, of spears clashing, of bodies pushing against each other fills the air. But beneath it all there is only the rhythm of the formation. Left, right, reth. Left, right, reth. The tension in the air grows. You can feel it, the weight of it, pressing down on your chest, making it harder to breathe, but you do not falter. The weight of the shield on your arm is constant, unyielding, but it feels right. It feels like home. The movement is simple, repetitive, but it is not mindless. It is the training of a lifetime. The rhythm of battle, the weight of your brothers beside you, the strength of the line that will hold when everything else falls apart. There is no thought, no hesitation, just action, just motion. The clank of metal, the scrape of shields, the grunts of men pushing against each other, all of it becomes one sound, a breath, one motion, and then suddenly it stops. The line holds. The air goes still, almost too still, like the world is holding its breath. You look to your left, to your right, and see the same fire in every eye. There is no fear here, not anymore. There is only purpose. The line has been forged, and it will not break. The old soldier's voice cuts through the silence, low and gravelly but steady. His hands are rough from years of holding a shield, his skin dark from the sun, his eyes sharp despite the years. "You think that shield is for you?" he asks, his voice cutting through the air like a blade. "You think it's there to save your life?" You glance at the shield in your hands, the weight of it familiar, comforting. But you know he's right. It is not for you. "No," the old man continues, his gaze unwavering. "That shield is not for you. It is for him." He points to the man on your left, a fellow Spartan, his shield pressed against yours. The words settle over you like a weight. "It is for the man beside you," the old soldier continues. "It is for the brother who stands with you, the man who will fight beside you. You hold your shield not to protect yourself, but to protect him, and when he falls you will not fall alone." He pauses, his gaze hardening as he looks around at the men in the circle. "There is a story," he says, "of a warrior, one of the greatest men Sparta ever knew. He stood here, in this very line, holding his shield. The battle raged around him and the enemy came in waves, but he held fast, like the rest of us. He held his shield steady, and when the moment came, the enemy broke through. They stabbed him, right here," the old man says, tapping his left side, "right here where he couldn't protect himself. And they killed him." He steps forward. His brother, his comrade, was there beside him. And when that warrior fell, his brothers stepped forward, not to fight for himself, but to fight for him, to protect him. He took that shield and he held the line. The old man's voice grows quieter, more solemn. "And that brother died too. But he died with honor, because he died fighting for the one man who mattered more than anything." He steps back, his eyes scanning the line of soldiers. "When you fight, when you stand here beside your brothers, remember this. It is not your shield that matters. It is theirs. You fight for them. You protect them. And when you fall, it is their shield that will protect you. You fight together. You die together. He gives you a long look, his gaze unwavering. And that is how Sparta stands. The first sound you hear is the drums. They come from the darkness, low and deep like the heartbeat of the earth itself. They shake the ground beneath your feet, fill the air with a vibration that you feel in your chest, in your gut. The rhythm is steady, slow at first, then faster, each beat like the pulse of a beast stirring in the dark. You do not need to see the drums to know what they mean. They are the sound of war, the sound of fate. You rise from your blanket, not from sleep, but from the knowing that this moment is already written in the stars. The firelight still flickers in the distance, casting long shadows across the camp. The men around you move without speaking, their actions fluid, practiced. Each warrior already knows his place, his purpose, his fate. The morning light is thin, just a thread on the horizon, but it cuts through the night like a blade. The first rays fall on the shields, the spears, the faces of the men who will fight beside you. You do not look at them. You do not need to. You know them. They are your brothers, your family, your comrades in arms. The drums grow louder. The sound of them is everywhere now, deep, resonant, like the roar of some great beast waiting to break free. You can feel the tension in the air, thick as smoke, like the world is holding its breath. The camp falls into formation. No commands, no words, just the rhythm of the drums and the movement of bodies as they line up, as they prepare. Shields are lifted, spears are readied. Men move in time, not with words, but with the unspoken understanding that this is the moment. This is the final breath before the storm. The drums shift in pitch, now faster, more urgent. They are calling you to battle. They are calling all of you. You step into the line, your shield heavy on your arm, your spear steady in your grip. The sound of the beast is in the air now, like thunder, like the breaking of the heavens. And for the first time you feel it, the weight of what is about to come, the moment before the charge, the moment before the end. The air is thick, sharp, like a bowstring pulled too tight. Every breath feels like the last, and still the drums beat, and the sun rises, and the line holds steady. You are not afraid. You are ready. The moment is here. The line is drawn. The earth beneath your feet is solid, unyielding. But the world above you, the sky, the sun, it is nothing but noise now. Nothing but sound. The drums are louder than your heartbeat, and the air is thick, pressing against you like a weight that threatens to break your chest. You stand with the others, your brothers, your comrades. But something is different now. The last breath you take is the last breath of the man you used to be. The man you were before this, before the shield, before the spear, before you were Sparta. Your fingers curl around the grip of your shield, the leather straps biting into your skin. It is not just the weight of the metal you feel. It is the weight of what this shield represents, what it demands. You breathe deeply, but there is no air. You pull your helmet over your head, the bronze cold against your skin, the weight settling into your soul. Your vision narrows, your focus sharpens. You are not who you were. You are not the boy who grew up in the warmth of the hearth, the one who laughed with his mother, the one who dreamed of a life outside of war. That man is gone. That life is gone. You are Sparta now. You are the blood of Leonidas. You are the legacy of those who came before you. You are the shield and the spear. You are not a man. You are a weapon. You look to your left, to your right. The faces of your brothers are the same as yours. The same bronze eyes, the same stoic expressions, the same silent understanding. They are not men either. They are warriors. They are Spartans. The air around you feels different now, as if the weight of your transformation has settled into the earth itself. You are no longer you. You are Sparta. Your thoughts are no longer your own. They are the thoughts of 1,000 men who have come before you. They are the thoughts of those who will come after you. You are the will of the gods made flesh. You are the end of the line. You are the last breath before death, the last breath of Sparta. You lift your shield higher, your stance firm. You do not need to speak. The silence between you and your brothers is all the language you need. The battle will come, the charge will come, but you will not flinch, you will not hesitate. You are no longer a man, you are Sparta. And you will fight until your bones are dust, and your name is etched in the earth. The world explodes into chaos. The earth moves beneath your feet, but you do not feel it. The ground is no longer solid. It is a wave of bodies, a sea of steel, a flood of noise that drowns everything else. The first wave of Persian soldiers crashes into the Spartan line like a wave crashing into the shore. It is not a wave you can escape. It is a wave you must fight. Your shield locks with the one beside you, the sound of bronze on bronze ringing in your ears. The first clash is deafening. The air fills with the screams of men, the thud of bodies hitting the earth, the clash of shields and the shriek of metal against metal. You hear nothing else. You see nothing else. There are no orders. There are no commands. There is only the weight of the shield against your arm, the pressure of the spear in your hand, the burn in your chest as you push forward. The line holds for a moment, a heartbeat. Then the flood comes again. The enemy surges forward, their faces twisted in rage, their bodies pressing against yours. You push back, but they keep coming, wave after wave, as if the earth itself has given them life. The dust rises. It is everywhere, stinging your eyes, filling your mouth, choking your breath. You cannot see. You cannot hear. All you can do is fight. All you can do is push forward. All you can do is push forward. The first Persian falls, then another, then another. Their bodies pile up at your feet, their blood mixing with the dust and the sweat of your brothers. But the enemy does not stop. They do not retreat. They press harder, their numbers endless, their rage unrelenting. You feel the weight of the line. You feel it in your legs, in your back, in your arms. You feel the strain of holding it all together, of standing firm against the tide. You are not sure how much longer you can hold. You are not sure if you will last until the end, but you do not let go. You do not break. You push forward, shoulder to shoulder with the men beside you. The first Persian falls, the second, the third. You do not count. You do not care. All that matters is the shield in your hand, the line at your back, the fight, the only fight that matters. The dust is thick now, suffocating. You can barely see the man beside you. You can barely hear your own breath. All you know is the fight. The roar of battle fills your ears, the clash of steel ringing in your skull. And still, the enemy comes. But you will not break. You cannot break. The earth beneath you moves, but you stay steady. You stay strong. You stay Spartan. The moment stretches, the world slowing, twisting as if the universe itself is unsure of what happens next. You see him fall, but not like a man. He collapses like a stone dropped into water, limbs twisting in strange angles, the blood spilling out in slow motion. His mouth opens, but no sound comes. You can see the arrow buried deep in his chest, the shaft quivering with each heartbeat. You see the blood darkening the ground, mixing with the dust, staining the earth beneath his body. You hear nothing. Not the battle, not the screams, not the clang of shields. Just the sound of your own breath, shallow, too shallow, as if the air has turned thick. You want to move. You want to rush to him, to lift him, to save him. But your legs are frozen. Your body is frozen. All you can do is watch as he hits the ground, his eyes wide, the life leaving him in waves like the tide pulling away from the shore. The world around you speeds up again. The fight resumes. You are pushed forward, shield against shield, spear thrusting forward into the mass of bodies. But there is a strange numbness now. The weight of your shield feels heavier, your spear feels lighter, as if your body no longer belongs to you. Your breath comes in ragged gasps, but you cannot feel it. Your heart beats, but it feels distant, like the sound of drums from a battle far away. You do not look back. You cannot. The face of your fallen comrade is burned into your mind, but it is not real. It cannot be real. You press forward, but your mind is elsewhere. You see another fall, this time a spear through the side. He is still standing when it happens, the shock in his eyes enough to make your stomach twist. The blood pours out in slow motion, like oil spreading on the ground, and his body crumples, falling to the dirt with a hollow thud. And you feel it, this numbness, this strange detachment. You don't want to feel it. You don't want to watch it happen, but you do. You watch and your hands continue to move. The enemy presses against you, the weight of their bodies pushing into you. But it's all distant now. Nothing matters but the line in front of you. The shield, the spear, the breath you are holding in your chest. You do not feel the sweat on your skin. You do not feel the sting of the wounds you have taken. You do not feel the panic creeping at the edge of your mind. You just push forward, one foot in front of the other, until the numbness becomes you, until the battle becomes nothing more than movement, nothing more than surviving. You have lost the man beside you, but you have not lost the fight. Not yet. The water is cold, colder than it should be, but you do not feel it. You should feel it, but you do not. The light of the fire behind you flickers across the surface, casting long shadows on the ground. The night is still, silent, except for the soft sound of your hands in the water, scrubbing away the blood. It is his blood, your brother's blood. The blood of the man who stood beside you, whose shield clanged against yours not an hour ago. Now it is stained, the once bright bronze tarnished with the dark red of life lost. You dip the cloth back into the water, wring it out, and press it against the surface of his cuirass. His blood is not the only stain. There are pieces of flesh, bone, the remnants of something that should have stayed whole. But you scrub anyway. You scrub as if you can wash away the memory. You scrub as if you can scrub away the silence of his empty eyes, the weight of his body crumpled on the battlefield. You do not look at his face. You cannot, not anymore. His body is just a shell now, a thing to clean, to prepare for the next step. You rinse the blood, but the stain does not leave. It remains, buried deep beneath the layers of bronze and iron, and you feel it too, deep inside you, as if the blood has seeped into your own veins. The water turns dark again, swirling with the evidence of death. But it is not just his death you are cleaning. It is yours too. You know this now. You know that you are no longer the man you were before this battle, before this war. You are not the same, and you wonder if you ever will be again. You do not stop. You do not hesitate. You cannot afford to. But inside, where the numbness has begun to settle in, where the fire in your chest has begun to flicker out, something is breaking. You know it. You feel it like the cold water running over your hands. The world continues to turn, but you are not sure you still know how to breathe. The blood is gone now, replaced with the stain of his absence. And still you wash. Still you clean. But the dirt on his armor is no longer just dirt. It is the weight of everything you have lost. The weight of what will come, and you wonder if you can ever truly wash it all away. The wave crashes again, and again, and again. The enemy presses forward, relentless, their numbers seemingly endless. You do not see them as men anymore. You see them as an ocean, a tide that cannot be stopped, a force that swallows everything in its path. The shield wall holds. It has to hold. But inside you, inside every soldier beside you, there is nothing but weariness, nothing but the weight of fatigue and pain and doubt. The first wave came with fury, and you held them. The second wave, stronger, more coordinated, and you held them. But this is different. The Persians have learned. Their lines are organized. Their attacks are not as frantic, but calculated, methodical. They pull back only to strike again, faster, harder. You hear the cries of your brothers, some of them shouting orders, others just grunting. But none of it matters. The noise fades in your ears as the pressure mounts. Your legs are no longer firm. They tremble with every step, with every push forward. Your shield feels like a weight you cannot lift, as if the metal is dragging you to the earth itself. You push with all your strength, but it is never enough. The line buckles for a second, but you regain your footing, force your body to respond. Your breath is short now, too short, and the air feels thick with the smell of sweat, blood, and iron. It is a smell that will never leave you. You want to scream, but the scream gets stuck in your chest, drowned by the pounding of your heart, by the shuddering of your limbs. There is no time to rest. There is no time to think. You only move, only react. The shield bashes against you, and you slam it forward again. Your body is numb now, not from lack of feeling, but from overuse, from overstretching the limits of what it can endure. Your muscles burn. Every breath feels like a fire, each one a struggle to inhale, to stay alive, to hold on. The Persian line does not stop. The spears keep coming, sharp, relentless, their tips glinting in the weak light of the sun. You see one of your brothers fall beside you, his shield slipping from his grip as his body crumples to the ground. You do not look at him. You cannot afford to. If you do, you will lose what little focus you have left. The pain is building now, not just in your body, but in your mind, in your soul. You think of home, but the thought is fleeting. You think of your family, your life before this, but the memory feels distant, as if it belongs to someone else. You think of the gods, but even they feel far away now. They are not here. They are not fighting beside you. You are alone, with nothing but the line, the shield, the spear, and the wave. It crashes again. You do not look at the enemy anymore. You do not need to. You know they will keep coming, and you will keep fighting, until you cannot stand, until you cannot breathe, until you cannot lift your shield, until the wave comes for you. The chaos presses in around you. The world a blur of blood and bronze, the ground shaking with each clash of shield and spear. You cannot hear the commands anymore. You cannot hear the cries of the men beside you. All that remains is the pounding of your heart, the beat of it loud in your ears, and the grating sound of your breath as it comes in sharp, shallow gasps. The world has become noise. The line between reality and madness blurs. You are not sure how much time has passed, but it doesn't matter. Time is a luxury you no longer have. The shield in your hand is slick with blood, but you cannot remember whose blood it is. The air is thick with the scent of sweat and fear, the dust rising in clouds, choking you. You swing your spear again, the tip cutting through the air, but it's not as precise as it should be. The world spins. The ground seems to tilt beneath you. You see the shadows of men moving, but they don't seem real. They are ghosts, shifting in and out of existence. The voices, the screams, they blur together, indistinct. And then you hear it. A voice, faint at first, like a whisper through the fog. Please, please. It is soft, desperate, a plea for mercy. You turn instinctively, and there he is, an enemy soldier, on his knees, hands raised in surrender. His face is young, no more than a boy, his armor dented and bloodied. His eyes are wide with terror, pleading. Please, I don't want to die. He is on the ground, his knees sinking into the dirt. But you do not stop. Your spear moves of its own accord, thrusting forward, and you hear the sickening sound of the point piercing flesh. His body jerks, the life leaving him in a single violent convulsion. The world stills for a moment, and in that stillness you feel the weight of what you've done. You did not see him as a boy. You did not see the fear in his eyes. You did not see the surrender. You saw only an enemy, and you killed him. The world around you roars back to life, but it is muffled now, distant. You take a step back, your breath ragged, but your legs feel like they are made of stone. You look down at the boy's body, at the blood pooling beneath him, and the voices in your mind grow louder. They are no longer the sounds of battle. They are the voices of doubt, of guilt, of something you cannot name. He begs for his life. You think, but the thought is fleeting, lost in the noise of the battle. You do not look at the boy anymore. You cannot. You push forward. The fight is still here. The enemy is still here. But something has broken inside you. The weight of what you have done is too much to bear, but you bear it anyway. You do not look back. You cannot afford to. The battle rages on, but a part of you has already fallen, and you know it. The battle rages around you, but for a brief moment there is a crack in the storm. It comes without warning. A voice breaks through the din of steel and screams. It is a joke, a laughable, foolish joke that one of your comrades, Andros, suddenly bursts out with, his voice breaking the tension like a wave crashing against the shore. "What do you call a Spartan who can't hold his shield?" he shouts, and the words spill out with a grin on his blood-stained face. A dead man? The absurdity of it cuts through the madness. For a split second, everything stops. The world stills. Every man around you pauses, confused for a heartbeat, before the laughter erupts. It comes like a wave, raw and full, spilling out of the men around you. Damaros laughs, his face cracked with blood. Even the old men chuckle, their gruff voices shaking the dust from the air. The sound of their laughter is strange, loud, unnatural. It is the laughter of men who have seen too much, who have walked too close to death. But for a moment it is a release. For a moment it is a reminder that they are alive, that you are alive. But the laughter is short-lived. The sound of it has barely faded when the first scream cuts through the air. It is sharp, high-pitched, filled with pain. Andros, still grinning, looks up just in time to see the sword thrust through his chest. His eyes widen, but the shock is fleeting. The blood spills from his mouth, but the smile remains for a moment longer. Then, like a puppet whose strings have been cut, he crumples to the ground, his laughter dying with him. The world returns to its natural chaos. But it is different now. It is heavier. You do not move. You do not speak. The laughter still hangs in the air, mingling with the screams, the clashing of shields, the wet sound of metal cutting through flesh. The moment of joy has passed, as fleeting as the man it was stolen from. His body lies in the dirt, but it is not just his body you mourn. It is the reminder, the cruel reminder, that in this place, in this time, life and death are not separated by days, by years, by any distance. They are separated by nothing, nothing more than the next breath, the next strike, the next heartbeat. The laughter has faded, but it lingers, a ghost in the air. And you know in your chest, in the pit of your stomach, that death is not just an end. It is a laugh. It is a joke told by fate, by the gods. It comes fast, it comes without warning, and you, like the others, must laugh in the face of it, or be consumed by it. The camp is quieter than it should be. The sounds of battle have died down, but the air is thick with the kind of tension that precedes the worst kind of storm. You sit by the fire, your shield heavy beside you, your spear leaning against the ground. The flames crackle, sending small embers dancing into the night sky, but the warmth does little to ease the chill creeping up your spine. The soldiers around you are tired, their eyes heavy, their bodies worn from the endless fighting, but there is no rest. Not yet. There is no peace. The wind shifts, and the first voice reaches you. Low, urgent, a whisper carried by the breeze. He has betrayed us. You turn, your heart catching in your chest. It is Damaros, his face grim, his eyes fixed on something in the distance. Ephialtes, he mutters, his voice a growl of disgust. He's the one who sold us out. The coward. You want to speak, but no words come. The man you trusted, the one who fought beside you has turned. He has given away the past. The mountain path that was supposed to be your last hope of survival. The betrayal settles over you like a weight you cannot lift. The fire seems to flicker dimly in the distance, as if the gods themselves have turned their faces away. And then, the scouts return. Their steps are heavy, their faces grim. They don't speak immediately. They don't need to. You can see it in their eyes. The path has been compromised. The Persians have found the way through the mountains. The narrow pass that should have been your shield, your final defense, has been exposed. The enemy will come from both sides. You are trapped. The scouts do not need to say more. The news is clear. The weight of it presses down on you, heavier than the shield you carry. You are no longer fighting for victory. You are fighting for survival. But there is no way out, no way to retreat. The sound of the drums echoes in the distance, the first rumble of the storm approaching. The fire is now only a flicker, the light weak, uncertain. You rise, your body stiff from the weight of what's to come. You look to your left, to your right. The men are already moving, but there is no order, no command. The command has already been given. You will hold the line, you will die here, and you will die with honor. But the thought lingers, the betrayal lingers. Ephialtes, the man who has doomed you, the man who has given away your life. The enemy will come, they will close in on you, and all you have now, all you have left, is the line that will hold even if you must fall to make it so. The line that will hold even if you must fight 100,000 men, even if you must die for it. The fire dims, the wind shifts, the night grows cold, and the whispers grow louder. Ephialtes, the path is no longer a secret. The mountain no longer stands between you and death. The road is open. The enemy will be here soon, and you will not run. You will stand. You will fight. You will die. But the line will hold. The camp is unnervingly still. The clamor of the battle is far behind you now, but it has left something heavier in its wake. Fear. It is not the kind of fear that makes a man run. No, this fear is deeper. It is the kind of fear that settles in your bones, that tightens your chest, that makes you question if you are alive at all. There are no cries, no screams, no sounds of life to break the tension. The men sit in clusters, some with their backs to the fire, others leaning against their shields, their faces etched with the same uncertainty that has gripped your own heart. There are no words. There is no movement. Only silence. You sit, staring into the flames, watching the embers rise and vanish into the night. You want to speak, to say something, but the words don't come. What is there to say? What can you say when the enemy is closing in on all sides and there is no escape? You can hear the whispers now, though you do not know what they are saying. You don't need to. The silence between the men speaks louder than any words could. It speaks of fear. It speaks of death. It speaks of the end. To your right, Damaris leans forward, his eyes narrow, his breath steady, though his hands tremble ever so slightly. You can see the flicker of fear behind his eyes, but he does not speak. He does not show it. None of you do. You cannot afford to. And then the silence is broken, not by a shout, not by a command, but by the soft, deliberate steps of Leonidas. He moves through the camp like a shadow, his presence calm, unyielding, like the mountain you all stand upon. His face is unreadable, but there is no fear in his eyes. There is nothing in his eyes but the resolve that has guided him all his life. He looks at each of you in turn, but he does not speak. There is no need for words. You know what he is asking of you. You know what he is about to command. The moment hangs between you all, and then with a single, deliberate motion, Leonidas raises his hand. The men in the camp fall into line immediately, as if they have been waiting for this moment, as if they have always known it was coming. You rise, your shield heavy in your hand, your spear at the ready. The air grows colder, but you do not feel it. You do not feel anything except the weight of what is about to come. Leonidas steps to the front, and you follow, your brothers falling in behind you like the shadow of death itself. There is no fear now. There is only the line, the last stand. The silence deepens as you form up. There is no need for words. There is no need for comfort. You all know what you must do. You are Spartans. You are not afraid. Not anymore. The battle will come. You will face it as you have always faced everything. Together, unyielding. The line will hold. It must hold. The silence in the camp is no longer one of fear. The silence in the camp is no longer one of fear. It is one of acceptance, of knowing what is to come, of knowing that you will fight, and you will die, but you will die as Spartans. You will die with honor, and you will die together. The air is thick with the weight of Leonidas' words. The command is clear, sharp as a blade. The men around you shift, the realization of what is being asked of them settling in their chests like a stone. You watch as Leonidas gives the order, his voice calm, steady, not a tremor in it despite the storm that rages around him. The Allied forces, those who have fought beside you, those who have bled with you, are to withdraw. They are to leave, to save themselves, to run. The 300 will stay. The 300 will die here. You feel the words twist in your gut as the men begin to turn away, their shields and spears shifting uncomfortably in their hands. Some glance back at you, but no words pass between you. There is nothing left to say. They know what this means. They know why they must leave. You do not see fear in their eyes, not fear for themselves, but fear for what you are about to face, the fear that you will die here, alone, without them. And yet, they go. You watch them, your heart heavy, as they begin to move toward the rear. Their steps hesitant, their shields clanking as they break away. They are young, many of them, too young, too full of life, and yet here they are, leaving you behind, leaving your fate to the gods. They do not want to go. You can see it in the way they walk, in the way they glance back over their shoulders, as though they are still searching for something, for a reason to stay. But Leonidas has spoken, the order has been given, and they must leave. One of them, a boy barely older than a child, meets your gaze. His eyes are wide, full of something, fear, hope, maybe regret, but he does not speak. He does not need to. His gaze says it all. He does not want to leave you, does not want to leave behind the 300, but he knows there is no place for him here. He knows there is no hope for anyone else, and so he turns, he walks away. You watch as the last of them disappear into the distance, their forms swallowed by the darkness of the valley. They are gone. They will live, but you will not. The line has been drawn. The decision has been made. You are not angry at them, you do not hate them, but you feel the loss, the weight of it settling in your chest like a rock. They are leaving, and you are staying. You will die here. You know that now, and yet, in some strange, twisted way, you feel lighter for it. The burden of responsibility, of leading them, of protecting them, is gone. It was never yours to carry. It was always theirs, and now it is your turn to make the final stand, your turn to hold the line. But as you watch them disappear, you cannot help but feel something catch in your throat, a final breath, a final wish. You want to tell them something, anything, but the words don't come. You stand there, your feet rooted to the earth, and you watch as the last of your comrades fade into the distance, knowing they will never return, and for the first time you are truly alone. You stand there, watching the last of your brothers disappear into the night, their backs to you now, their fate sealed. You do not call out to them. You do not try to stop them. The decision has been made, and it is not one that can be undone. They will live. They will flee to fight another day. But you stay. You feel the weight of it settle in your chest, a coldness that creeps through your veins and settles deep in your bone. The wind shifts, and the heat of the day is replaced by the chill of the coming night. Your armor feels heavier now, the weight of it pressing down on your shoulders as though it has become part of the earth itself. The ground beneath you is solid, unforgiving. You press your foot into it, feeling the heat of the land rise through your sandals. The earth feels alive beneath you, pulsing, waiting. It is as if it has accepted you, claimed you, and you know, truly know, that this is where you will die. You take one more breath, slow and deliberate, filling your lungs with the air of the valley, the smell of dust and sweat, of blood and fear, and something else. Something you can't name. Something that feels like the weight of the world pressing down on you. You take a step forward, then another, slowly sinking your feet deeper into the ground. The earth grips you, holds you, and you know that you will not leave. Not now, not ever. You stand alone, the last of the 300. You are not afraid. There is no fear here. Only the calm, quiet acceptance of what must come. The line has been drawn. The choice has been made. The world will remember this day. The world will remember what you have chosen, but not for glory, not for fame. For the land, for the freedom of those who could not stand. You kneel, your fingers brushing the earth beneath you, and you whisper the words, "My feet are nailed to this land." They are the words of a king. They are the words of a warrior who knows his fate, who knows his end is inevitable, but who stands anyway. You stand, not for yourself, but for something greater, for honor, for freedom, for Sparta. Your feet are buried in the earth now, each step taking you deeper into the soil, and with each step you feel the weight of your choice settle in your chest. The enemy will come. They will take you, but they will not take your spirit. They will not take your will to stand, to fight. They will not take this land, not without a price. And as you stand there, the sound of your brother's footsteps fading into the distance, you know, this is the end. This is where you will die. But you will die with purpose. You will die with honor. And when the world remembers this day, they will remember you. They will remember you standing with your feet nailed to the earth. The sun is unforgiving, its rays slicing through the air like blades, searing against your skin. Your armor feels like it is made of fire, the metal heated to an unbearable temperature, pressing against your body with a weight that is more than just physical. It is a weight of fate, of finality. The shield in your hand is warm, slick with sweat, but it is not the heat that makes you feel heavy. It is the knowledge of what is to come. The line forms in silence, no words, no shouts, no last-minute speeches. The men are still, their faces set in stone, like figures carved into the very rock beneath your feet. You look to your left, to your right. Every face is the same, hard, unreadable, frozen in a moment that will never change. There are no tears here. There are no words of encouragement. There are no cries of fear, only the sound of your breath, heavy and shallow, filling the air between the men. But it is not the sound of fear. It is the sound of resolve, of men who have accepted their fate, who have already died in their hearts. The world is still, as if holding its breath, waiting for something to break, but it does not. The line is steady. The line is unyielding. Leonidas steps forward, his footsteps echoing on the ground, each one a drumbeat signaling the end. His gaze sweeps across the men, but he does not speak. He does not need to. His eyes, cold, hard, unblinking, tell you everything. He lifts his chin once, just a slight nod. That is the order. That is the command. It is enough. No rallying cry. No final call to arms. Only that nod. The silence thickens as the realization settles over you, over all of you. This is the end, the final charge. You are not soldiers anymore. You are a wall, A wall of shields, of bronze, of flesh and bone. You are not human anymore. You are the last stand, the last line. You are the wall that will not bend, the wall that will not break. Sweat and blood mix in the air, and it is the same smell now. The smell of life and death intertwined, of men who have lived and died in the same breath. The line does not falter. The line does not move. The line is a wall. And you are the last breath before the storm. You do not speak aloud, but the words form in your mind, quiet and deliberate. They are not for your brothers, not for the gods, but for yourself. We are not men. We are vessels for legend. The thought is simple, but it is everything. The last flicker of humanity within you fades, snuffed out like the dying embers of a fire that has long since burned through all it was meant to consume. You feel it in your chest. Not a numbness, but a shedding. The fear that once gripped your heart, the desire to survive, the longing for home. These things are gone now. You are not afraid. You are not hungry. You are only what the battle has shaped you to be. A body, a shield, a spear. You are not a man anymore. You are something more, something ancient, something that will endure long after this moment fades. The thought lingers as the weight of your armor settles into your bones, as your breath comes slow and steady, like the rhythm of the earth beneath your feet. You are a vessel for what is eternal. You feel the change deep within you. The emotions are gone now, not in the way that numbness overtakes the body, but in a way that you have transcended them. You have shed the mortal part of yourself, and in doing so, you have become something that will outlive you. You are a warrior. You are the last of Sparta. You are the line that holds against the storm. The ground beneath you is hot now, almost burning, but you do not feel it. The blood, the sweat, the dirt, it is all part of you. You are the earth. You are the fire. You are the charge that will echo through the ages. The thought comes to you then, and you wonder if, many years from now, when this place is just a forgotten patch of earth, someone will come here. Will they touch the ground where you stood? Will they hear your unspoken words on the wind, carried by the dust of your sacrifice? Will they know your name, your story, the price you paid for this land? You do not know, you do not care, but for a fleeting moment the thought lingers, like a whisper that passes too quickly to catch, and then you are back to the present, back to the battle, back to the line. The world will remember you, but not as a man, as a legend, and that is enough. The world has become a muffled thrum, a distant echo of itself. The sound of battle still rages, but it is no longer sharp, no longer clear. It is a deep, resonating hum that seems to reverberate through your skull, through your chest. You cannot see. Your eyes are thick with blood, your own blood, your comrades' blood, the sweat and grime of battle. It is everywhere, a thick coating that blinds you, that makes everything feel far away. The air is heavy, suffocating. Your breath comes in shallow gasps, and every inhale feels like it could be your last. You cannot see, but you can hear. You rely on the sound of the world, the clang of metal on metal, the grunt of men pushing, fighting, dying. Your ears have become your eyes now, your only means of knowing where to strike, where to stand. The clash of shields, the snap of spears, the wet slap of a blade cutting flesh. You turn instinctively, your spear slicing the air, but it is not enough. You feel the weight of a body crash against yours, the shield colliding with your ribs, but you do not flinch, you do not step back, you do not feel the pain, you do not feel anything. You only feel the world pressing in on you, pushing you forward, forcing you to fight. Your senses are narrowing, but in this blindness there is no panic, there is no fear. You have trained for this. You have trained to fight in the dark, to fight in the chaos, to fight when the world is nothing but sound and blood. Your shield feels heavier now, slick with the blood of your enemies and your own. Your fingers are numb, but they grip it tightly, as if it is the only thing keeping you from falling into the abyss of the world around you. The air is thick with the smell of sweat, blood, and death. It clogs your nostrils, but you do not waver. You push forward, step by step, trusting your body, trusting your training. You hear the scream of a man falling beside you, his body hitting the earth with a sickening thud. You hear the sound of someone shouting, but the words are lost in the roar of the world around you. The world has become a copper bell, its shape distorted by the blood that clouds your vision, its sound muted by the fog in your mind. You move with it, a part of it, a piece of the whole. You are no longer separate from the chaos. You are the chaos. You do not know where the enemy is, but you can feel them. You can feel the pressure, the pull, the weight of them. You hear them moving, their shields clashing, their spears thrusting, their feet thudding against the earth. You swing your spear again, and the sharp sound of metal cutting flesh fills your ears. You cannot see the blood, but you feel it. It is on your hands, on your face, on your armor. It is in the air, thick and choking. You swing again and again and again. You lose count of the number of men you strike down. You lose track of the time. All you know is the rhythm of the battle, the sound of your breath, the weight of your shield. You are blind, but you are not lost. You are blind, but you are still here. You are still fighting. The world has become nothing but sound, but in this sound you find clarity. You find purpose. You find the strength to continue. You fight like a beast with nothing left but instinct, nothing but rage and the will to survive for just one more moment. The world around you is a blur of motion, shadows, flashes of metal, the weight of your own breath filling your ears. You are no longer a man. You are something else now, a creature of the battlefield, driven by the primal urge to strike, to kill, to push forward until you can push no longer. The blade comes at you from the side, but you are faster. You twist, parry, and then it's in his chest. He falls, his body crumpling beneath the weight of his own armor, but you do not stop. You cannot stop. Another comes at you, and this time the blade cuts deep. You feel the sting of it, the sharpness of the pain, but you do not flinch. You do not hesitate. You swing your sword in a wide arc, feeling it connect with flesh, with bone, hearing the satisfying thud as the enemy falls. But it is not enough. They keep coming, they keep charging, pressing against you, shoving you backward, but you do not give an inch. The blood runs freely now. Yours, theirs, mixing in the dirt beneath your feet. You do not care. You are not afraid. You are a machine, a force of nature. Your every movement a strike, your every breath a roar. Another blade. This one hits your side, slicing through the armor, tearing through skin. You feel it, but you do not stop. You cannot stop. You bring your sword down on the man's neck and he falls, dead before he hits the ground. But there are more. So many more. You have lost track of how many you've killed, how many you've struck down. It doesn't matter. They will keep coming. They will keep fighting. And so will you. Your legs begin to tremble. Your vision starts to blur. You are soaked in blood, drenched in it. Your body a mass of cuts and bruises. But you do not feel it. Not anymore. All you feel is the desire to fight, to strike, to kill. And then, there he is, the leader, the one who has been directing them all. His eyes are locked on you, his sword raised, and you know this is it. This is the end. But you do not care. You have no fear left. You have nothing but the desire to take him down, to end it here, to make sure that if you fall, you will fall knowing you took one more with you. You charge, the world narrowing to just him. You strike, and the blow lands true. You feel the sword pierce his chest, his body jerking back from the force, but you do not stop. You press the point deeper, feeling the warmth of his blood, hearing his scream of agony, and then, just like that, the world goes dark. The pain in your body becomes too much. Your legs give out beneath you and you fall to the ground. The last thing you hear is the sound of your own breath, ragged and shallow, and the sound of the enemy finally stepping over your body to continue the fight. But you know that you have done it. You have struck the leader down. You have fought until there was nothing left of you but blood, bone, and memory. And as you fall, the world fades. You are no longer a man. You are a legend. The world fades into a dream. The blood, the pain, the battle, all of it slips away like sand through your fingers. The weight of your body, the pressure in your chest, everything is gone. You are no longer part of the world. You are part of something else now. Something dark, something silent. The air is thick with mist, swirling in patterns that do not make sense, shifting and twisting like something alive. The smell of salt and decay fills your senses, but there is no sound. The world is muted, as though the very act of being alive has been stripped away, leaving you in a space where only your thoughts remain. Your breath comes slow, but it is not a breath of air. It is something heavier, something more profound. You are sinking, slowly, gently. The ground beneath you no longer exists. The earth has given way to something deeper, something darker. You cannot see where you are going, but you know you are moving. You know you are falling, deeper into the river that runs beneath the earth. The mist thickens, the grayness clouding your vision, and you feel a presence. It is not a voice, but a pull towards something, towards silence, toward the forgotten. You cannot see their faces, but you know they are there. The shapes, the shadows, they drift around you, suspended in the water, floating without purpose, without end. You want to speak, but there are no words. You want to ask them who they are, what they want, but their presence is enough. Their silence is enough. And you feel it. The weight of it all. The weight of everything you have done, everything you have been. It is all here. It is all around you. You are no longer a warrior. You are no longer a man. You are a part of this river, this place where time does not exist, where the weight of your actions does not matter, where the screams and the blood and the honor are gone. There is only the water, the grayness, the endless drifting. You cannot move. You cannot escape. You can only float, carried by the river, carried by the flow of what has come before you and what will come after you. The shadows around you grow clearer now. You recognize them, not by their faces, but by their presence. They are like you. They are the ones who have fallen, the ones who have fought and died. They are the ones who have been forgotten, the ones who live only in the memory of those who still breathe. You are one of them now. You are part of the river. The mist swirls around you, and you feel yourself sinking deeper. The shadows drift further, and the silence grows louder, wrapping around you like a blanket until there is nothing left but the cold, the stillness, and the endless river beneath the earth. The mist around you parts, and there, standing before you, is not a man. It is something more, something ancient. He is tall, clad in a robe that shifts and glows with the light of 1,000 worlds, his sandals barely touching the ground as he steps forward. His face is calm, serene, but there is a fire in his eyes, a knowing fire, the fire of one who has seen time itself unravel. "I am Hermes," he says, his voice like the wind, like the breath of the earth. "I am the guide for those who walk between worlds, and you, my friend, are about to walk into eternity. You try to speak, but the words don't come. You cannot speak. You cannot move. You can only stand, frozen in place as the god before you begins to walk, his steps quiet, yet filled with purpose. "Come," he says, and his voice is both a command and a comfort. "It is time for you to see what lies beyond." You follow, unable to resist as he leads you through the haze. The world around you shifts, becomes less real, more like a dream. And yet you know it is real, this place, this space. It is the realm between life and death, the land of memory, of echoes, of the things that were and the things that will be. You walk together in silence, the path before you winding through an endless field. The field is not made of grass, but of memories. Images flash before you, images of your life, of the battles you fought, the friends you lost, the moments that defined who you are. The faces of those who have fallen, your own face, younger, full of hope and promise. You see it all, and yet it does not overwhelm you. It is not sorrow that fills your chest, but understanding. This is your journey. These are your memories. You are not afraid. You do not cry. You see now, Hermes says, his voice a whisper in the wind. This is the life you led. This is the story you wrote with your blood, your sweat, your sacrifice. And now you must leave it behind. But know this, my friend, you will not be forgotten. No warrior ever is. You feel something stir within you, a sense of peace, of finality, of acceptance. And then, in the distance, you see him, Leonidas, standing alone, his shield at his side, his face set in the same resolute expression you remember. He is older now, but there is no mistaking him. He is the king who led you all, the king who stood by your side until the end. He does not speak, but he smiles. It is a smile full of pride, full of something greater than victory or defeat. He nods at you, as if acknowledging that this is how it was always meant to be. You have done well, he says, though you do not hear the words. You hear them in your soul, in your heart, in the depth of your being. You have fought, and you have died, but you will live on, as we all do, in the stories, in the legends. His voice is quiet, but it echoes through the realm. You are not forgotten. You will never be forgotten. The god beside you speaks again. You have crossed. You have become legend, and now you walk with the gods. You stand still, looking at Leonidas, your king, your brother, and you know that he is right. You have died, but in dying you have become more. You have become eternal. You are not just a man anymore. You are a story. You are a memory. You are a part of something that will never fade. The land is quiet now. The battle has ended, the air filled with nothing but the soft sigh of the wind as it moves across the broken earth. The screams have faded, the clash of metal and the cries of the dying now just echoes in the silence. The dust has settled, but it has not settled for long. It lingers like the ghosts of those who have fallen. You do not see the bodies, not yet, but you know they are there. They are scattered across the land, twisted and broken, fallen like flowers in the soil. They are not flowers, but they look like them now, petals of blood and metal scattered across the hot earth. The wind whispers through the field, a soft, mournful sound that carries no relief, no comfort. It is the sound of the land grieving, the earth itself mourning the loss of its children. You hear it, but you do not move. You do not need to. You are a part of it now. You are the wind. You are the earth. You are the silence that follows the storm. The land speaks to you, though it does not use words. It is not the voice of the gods. It is not the voice of the living. It is the voice of the earth, the one that has always been there, waiting for the warriors to return to it. The land remembers. It always remembers. The wind stirs the air, but there is no sound now except the rustling of the dust. No battle cries, no cries of pain, only the wind. The land is quiet, the earth is still, but your voice rises, though you do not know why. It is a low whisper, barely audible, a breath against the earth. We fell here, you say, though no one is there to hear it. We fell. But we did not die. Your words do not break the silence. They do not disturb the stillness of the land. They are just a part of it now. Just another whisper lost in the wind. The bodies around you are no longer just bodies. They are memories. They are the echoes of the men who fought, the men who died. the men who gave everything they had for this land, for this moment. They are no longer just flesh and bone. They are the earth, the dust, the wind. They are the silence. The wind picks up again, but it does not carry your words. It does not carry anything. It only moves like time, like fate. The silence is complete. It is the silence that comes after everything has been said, after every battle has been fought. It is the silence that comes when the world no longer remembers. But you remember. You always will. Your voice, though small, though fleeting, will always echo here, in the land where you fell. Years pass, and the world shifts, but the memory remains. Time moves on, as it always does, leaving behind only the echoes of what was, and what could have been. The land that once knew the weight of shields, the clash of warriors, the blood of men, is now silent. The scars of battle worn away by the passage of time. But there, in the heart of the land, stands a statue. It is tall, carved from stone, a figure of strength and defiance. The figure is familiar, though the face is worn and weathered, the lines of the features blurred by the years. The statue stands alone, as it has for centuries, a monument to something lost, to something that can never be returned. A young man approaches, his steps slow, reverent. He is not a warrior. He does not carry the weight of battle in his chest, but he carries something else, the curiosity of youth, the desire to understand what came before him. His hand reaches out, brushing the cold stone of the statue. His fingers linger for a moment, tracing the lines of the figure, as if he can feel the life that once filled it, the spirit that once burned within. Beside him, an old man watches, his face lined with age, his eyes soft with the wisdom of time. These were the 300, the old man says, his voice low, filled with the weight of a history that has been passed down through generations. The men who stood here, who fought, who gave everything for something greater than themselves. The young man looks at the old man, his brow furrowed in thought. The 300, what did they fight for? He asks, his voice filled with genuine curiosity. The old man smiles softly, the corners of his mouth curving upward. They fought for freedom, for their land, for their people, and for the memory of those who would come after them. The young man looks at the statue again, his eyes searching as if trying to understand what it means, what it represents, and in his eyes there is something more. There is recognition. There is something that connects him to the past, something that calls out to him from the stone. For a moment, just a fleeting moment, it is as if the world around him fades away. It is as if the statue comes to life, as if he can see the warrior standing there, looking down at him, his eyes full of determination, full of fire. The young man blinks, and the moment is gone. The statue stands still, silent, unchanging. But in his mind the image lingers. He knows now that the past is not dead. It is alive, in the stories, in the statues, in the people who carry the memory forward. The 300 are not just names carved in stone. They are alive, in every generation that remembers them, in every heart that carries their spirit. And in that moment the young man knows that he too will carry the memory of the 300. Just as the generations before him have, just as you did. You are not gone. You have never been gone. The world that follows remembers you. In the quiet moments, in the stories passed down through time, your name is whispered, your actions relived in the songs of those who were not there, but who have been touched by the fire of your sacrifice. In the poet's words, in the echoes of every battlefield, you live on. You are the fire they remember. You are the strength they call upon when their own resolve begins to falter. You are the symbol of something greater than the men who stood with you, greater than the land you fought for. You are the legend that will never die. In every song that speaks of glory and sacrifice, in every tale that recounts the fall of heroes, your name is carved into the fabric of the world. You are the fire that burns in the hearts of those who remember. You are the light that guides their path. even when the world is dark. And though the years pass and the earth grows still, the memory of your stand is eternal. You are the heartbeat of the past, the pulse of history, the voice that still calls out from the ashes of battle. You live on in the courage of every soldier who follows. You live on in the hearts of those who fight for freedom, for justice, for the memory of what was once given. And in the quiet spaces, in the stillness of the land that once knew your footfalls, your voice whispers again. Remember us, you say, though no one hears, though no one answered. Remember us, for we died in glory. The words are not just a prayer, they are a promise that even in death you will not fade. You will not be forgotten. Your fire will burn forever. And when they speak of you, when they speak of the 300, they will speak of you as they speak of all those who have made the ultimate sacrifice, as they speak of those who have given everything for the cause, for the land, for the memory and the memory. And you will live on, not as a man, not as a warrior, but as a legend, as fire, as the eternal flame that will never be extinguished.